Okay, I'm joined by Dave from Major Key Technologies to discuss real-time graphs with ColdFusion, GraphQL and WebSockets. Welcome, Dave.
Hi.
So what's the main challenge in delivering real-time data visualization today?
Wow, that's a good question to start off with. I guess one of the main challenges in getting real-time data is not just getting the data from point A to point B, it's getting it to point B and making it relevant when it's received in its destination. Getting a ton of data is easy. I can easily push data from place to place without an issue. It's making sure that when it gets to that endpoint, it's consumable and receivable to a user that makes sense. And it's not just a jumble of rows of data that makes no sense. Like, nobody wants to look at an Excel spreadsheet. Oh, it's a ton of data, but how really useful and relevant is it without, like, okay, now I need to search through it and filter it and do all that. We have way better technology than that to make things more relevant when they get it.
So how do GraphQL and WebSockets complement ColdFusion applications?
Oh, geez. GraphQL is a very interesting animal. I knew nothing about GraphQL before I started doing research into my presentation. Mark Takata from Adobe suggested that I do the talk. It was going back to my original talk I did many years ago at the very first CF Summit on WebSockets. He said, hey, take that but make it better, or make it different, make it bigger.
Right.
And he's like, use GraphQL. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I knew nothing about GraphQL, did a bunch of research, did some investigation, and GraphQL is a very interesting animal where it sits between your application and your data. Well, it's kind of a mid layer,
right.
But it goes beyond that, where not only does it sit between your data, it allows you to connect to multiple different kinds of data simultaneously. So instead of querying a database and then doing a REST call somewhere else and then grabbing a microservice to get some data, you would just ask GraphQL for this information, and it would go spider out and pull it back into a normalized return, which makes that part of your application just a lot more easier to deal with. Now you have one thing to deal with instead of everything. Now there's a lot of configuration, a lot of extra work involved to set that up, but once it's set up, it's a lot easier to deal with your application because now you're dealing with a normalized return. Right. You don't have to deal with, oh, that service is returning a certain type of JSON, that's returning a query, that's returning an object. It's like, no, GraphQL simplifies that down and makes it so much easier to deal with.
Okay, and could you share a practical example of a real-time dashboard which you have built? Sure,
I will use the exact example that I used in my presentation. Okay. So in my presentation I used, there's a video game called Apex Legends where it spits out real-time data of what's going on in the game. So from somebody picking up a weapon, taking damage, all of those game events are trapped and spit out. So Apex has a ability to send out WebSocket data to a destination endpoint. And then you can take that data and manipulate it. And that's what I did in my demo, is I took all that data and then fed it through a few channels, through databases and GraphQL, back to a client dashboard to literally watch the game happen, but in graphs.
Right.
So real-time data loading from a visual video game to a data graph. So somebody looking at statistics and things can see the game happening in real time, but in a data perspective. Okay. So for data geeks like me, it's really cool because I love video games and I love the data side, so it was kind of neat to see the whole game. And it's cool because you can replay the game and see trends in the data. So it's really cool to do something like that.
That's nice. And what's the future of real-time applications in business?
Oh, there's already a massive need for real-time data when you're looking at like stock markets and other aspects like that. Just people want to consume data as quick as they can.
Right.
Nobody wants to refresh screens and wait for data. They want the data to just be pushed at them. So the amount of data that's getting pushed out now just from applications is pretty big. I mean, your phones alone are receiving, I'm like, during this call, I think I've felt my phone vibrate like 5 times in my pocket as I'm getting information pushed at me.
Right.
So we're in this constant state of getting pushed information. So I think it's only going to get worse.
So how can people follow your work or connect with you after this event?
You can find me online everywhere as @dfgrumpy. I am that handle every single place that exists.
Okay.
I got that when I was very early in the information age, and every time something comes up that I can have an account with that name, that's me.
Oh. Thank you, Dave. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.